Welcome to Scottish Cheese Trail. My name's Wendy Barrie, and today we're going to look at what cheeses in Scotland are on the international Slow Food Arc of Taste. So slow food is an international movement for supporting local produce, seasonal produce, and it's all about food being good, clean and fair. And as part of that, they have a big website called the Slow Food International Arc of Taste, which is about supporting biodiversity, and it's heritage foods and forgotten foods from across the whole world. So it's really interesting. So in Scotland, we have some Arc of Taste cheeses, and I'm leader for the Arc of Taste in Scotland, so it's been very interesting researching all the different produce we have here in this lovely country. So what makes a cheese from Scotland suitable for the International Arc of Taste? Well, it's a very specific criteria. It has to be the breed of the animal, the feed of the animal, the traditional skills used to create that product, in this case cheese, and indeed also very fundamental is that there's a history of that product being made in that place. So if anything is territorial, then the cheeses for the Arc of Taste are definitely that. So what cheeses have we got in Scotland that are on the Arc of Taste? Well, we have two cheesemakers, one in Ayrshire and one in Fife. And between them we have four cheeses on that International Arc of Taste. So our Fife cheesemaker is Jane Stewart, and she's at the St Andrews Farmhouse Cheese Company and produces two beautiful cheeses, the Einster and her farmhouse cheese. Now all these are made with cow's milk. Hers are Holstein Friesian. Now the Friesian breed is very traditional to Fife because it links back to the Dutch traders who were regularly plying between the Fife fishing villages and the Dutch coast. And in fact you can see that to this day with the pan tiles on the roofs of the fishing villages right along the East Neuk. And so the Friesian is very much something of its place in Fife. And Jane and her husband Robert have a closed herd of Holstein Friesians, and all the food is on farm. So a traditional cheese made in a traditional way with an old heritage culture. And she makes a range of stunning products, but these ones, the Einster, is usually about 2 to 4 months old, sometimes a little older, and it's a slightly lemony, tangy flavour. And it's a slightly crumbly cheese and a paler cheese, as you can see, and really delicious. The other one, both cloth wrapped, is the farmhouse cheese, which is buttery. It's an older cheese. It's always about 9 months or even older, and it's got a delicious, rich, yellowy, buttery colour as well. And as it matures, and you can buy an extra mature one, it becomes up there with a parmesan, and I would gladly grate it on my pasta dishes as well as serving it on a cheese board. Unster is the old name for Anstruther, and that is the place which is near their farm, and as I say, very much of its place with that sea air and the slightly salty breeze coming in over the meadow. And there are elderly folk in the area that will come up to Jane and say, "Oh, your Einster tastes just like my granny's, just like my great granny's." So it's definitely got the heritage of its place, and that would have been the cheese that was made in that region. Over in Ayrshire, the cow for the Ayrshires is the Ayrshire cow, and that is what Anne Dorward is using on Dunlop Dairy. And in fact, Dunlop is a wee hamlet in Ayrshire, and the cows, the Ayrshire cows, used to actually be called the Dunlop cow. And it was the house cow everybody would have had if they were living in the rural countryside. They would have had their house cow, and it would have in that area been the Dunlop cow. So the recipe that Anne is using is dating back to the 17th century. The history is there, the cheese was being made with the Dunlop cow, and this is the old recipe that she uses. And it's a lovely farmhouse cheese, but it has a creaminess and a butteriness. And it's quite slightly sweet and nutty when it's younger, and then as it matures it becomes an even deeper flavour and a bit more tangy. Delicious both ways. That's her Dunlop. And last but not least, the fourth cheese on the International Arc of Taste is Anne's Crowdie. Now, Anne makes the closest we have the original Cloudy, in that it's Ayrshire milk from Ayrshire cows in Ayrshire. Now, people would have made Crowdie all over rural Scotland. But if they're in the Highlands, they'd be using a Highland cow. If they were in Galloway, they'd be using the Galloway. So it's fit and proper that in Ayrshire, it would be the Ayrshire cow. And the eating of Crowdie in Scotland dates back to the Vikings and even the Picts. So it's a very ancient cheese, one of the oldest that we have in Scotland. A delicious, light, fresh cheese. So it's fascinating to visit the areas, visit the regions, to see the cheeses and taste the cheeses. Now you might wonder why they're all cow's cheese, because we have 4 terrific cheeses here, but we have great cheeses across Scotland. Why are they not on the International Ark of Taste? Well, as I said at the beginning, the criteria is very specific, and it is important that it is the right breed in the right place. And these are all for the Ark, and these are all cow's cheese, because if it was to be a used cheese, it would need to be a Scottish sheep, and we do have quite a lot of native Scottish breeds. And if it was to be a goat's cheese, it would need to be those native Scottish goats, and you'd have to catch them first. But it wouldn't be impossible, and the gate is open for more of these cheeses. But currently, the fantastic cheesemakers we have that are making cheese with ewe's milk or goats are using continental breeds, and hence that's why they don't fit the Ark criteria, although they can be fantastic cheeses. So we have Jane's cheeses in Fife, Anne's cheeses in Ayrshire, and you can find all the details about them on the Scottish Cheese Trail. So until next time,